Welcome to this session of the Web3 Lagos Conference. And my name is Eniola Messi, and I'll be the moderator for this session. And we'll be discussing a very, very interesting topic on on-chain data or community-led growth models. So which one works better for today's market? And so if you're a builder, this would relate directly to what you are doing. And I would like to reiterate that builders are not just developers, but builders are people contributing to the ecosystem, whatever it is that you are doing, because all of us are trying to make sure that the ecosystem grows, right? So stay attentive and let's learn. So I'm passing the mic. Okay, there's a mic there already. So start with Mara, ladies first. So introduce yourself, what you do, and let's get to meet you.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Achusi. You can also call me Mara Blossom. I'm a community and marketing manager. I'm currently working as the operations lead for Influx AI. Thank you.
Please, can we clap for her, please? Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anon of Web3, and I currently, of course, support with product advisory and GTM strategy at Base West Africa. Nice meeting you and nice having you on the stage.
All right, thank you so much. So we just have 2 questions each for all of our speakers, and then we have one general question for both of them. And so if you have any question, let us know. So I'll try to make sure that this session we keep to time. All right, so the first question is going to Anon of Web3, and I want to ask, can you share an example of a Web3 product or project where the community literally make the product succeed?
Okay, so one major product. Would I call it product, or would I say like even on an ecosystem level? That would be Base. And of course, the most recent that many people must have seen is the Base app, right? We can practically say that the Base app, by all means necessary, has actually like grown the way it has grown because of the community push. So the product was engineered in such a way that community has a big advantage. So far, they have like major roles to play, and so the Base app can be one major product within the Web3 space that we would put on this table.
So audience, do you guys agree with him? Do you guys agree with him? All right, so thank you so much. So over to you, Mara. So what role should storytelling play in connecting on-chain insights with real community adoption?
All right. So before I actually answer that question, right, I actually started this space. When I joined the Web3 space, I learned about DeFi, Web3, and I actually found out that it was quite difficult for people to understand or get onboarded into the Web3 space as someone who was active and still is very active in the space onboarding people. So I noticed that storytelling is the best and simplest way to build trust and relatability between people. So not only is it good or is it the best for education and onboarding, it's also the best way to convey whatever fact it is that you have to people for them to be able to relate with you. So I can go through, there are so many on-chain analytic tools like, doing analytics, analysis, token terminal, and the rest of them, right? I can actually see, oh, okay, we have 10,000 users, right? I can just go to Twitter and say, 10,000 people are already using our protocol, which is just fact, right? But I can actually communicate with them or communicate to them in a very different way. So, something like, 10,000 people actually trusted us to start their first DeFi experience with us. And this is something people can connect with. This is something people can relate with. So storytelling helps with simplicity. Storytelling helps with impact. It helps with relatability. Yeah, thank you.
So actually what I wanted to just reiterate there is that if not for only communities, not for only products, even personally yourself, look at the example she made. She said, you can say 10,000 people already using our product and 10,000 people already trusted our products. Can you see the difference between the two? So, and one will be more credible when you are reporting to probably someone, maybe your boss or someone, or even people outside there that are listening to what you're saying. Thank you very much. Please, can you clap for Mara? Thank you so much. Okay, so to you, can on-chain data ever replace human-centered community building, or must they always coexist?
So I know like there is a lot of hype around what data is at the moment, and it makes a lot of sense actually, because if you have to look at things, coming from like my background as not just being a marketing person, I'm actually like a marketing person who comes from a psychology background, right? And one of the things that I've actually discovered is that humans lie, like we know how to lie, right?
That's serious.
And so I was having a discussion outside even before I came up, and it was somebody telling me that he had a conversation with some people. They got feedback, about 100 people like filled the feedback form saying they were so interested in the product and all of that. By the time the product was going to go live, he had just one user.
Wow.
Just one. And this would be from the point of like how that you rely heavily on let me go around and just ask people, and so data plays a major role because you're able to see people say they are not trading, but the data on the back end is showing that a lot of trading activities are going on. So would it be that we now say we want to go with community and leave data alone, or we want to go with data and leave community alone? I wouldn't say we should leave anybody. They have to coexist. Like, so the way I see it and the way I would actually put it would be that data allows you to be able to see things in real time, like on a short-term basis. And then if you're able to like engineer and work with that data, you can actually like use it to know what direction to go with your community. And so it allows you to play a more long-term game. So you can say, like data allows me to place a food here, but community allows me to have many more meals to bring to the table. So that's practically just it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for that. Please, a round of applause for our speaker. So, it's done for you. All right. So now back to I've known Mara for a while. She has worked with community. She has done partnerships. So do you see on-chain analysis influencing decision around scaling, product scaling, and all of that?
Okay, so there's if you are an ardent follower of CZ of Binance on Twitter, you know that he makes one very, very important statement: verify before you trust. Now, not only does that apply to you making your research whenever you want to buy a token and all of that, whatever thing it is that you do in this space, in this ecosystem, you need to make your research. You need to verify before you actually trust. The reason why I'm actually saying that is because a lot of things goes on social media, especially crypto Twitter, right? We'll see a lot of people making hype. You'll see an ecosystem popping up, and there are already people making hype. But when you go back, when you go behind the scenes to, run your data check, you'll see that it's just noise. And if you don't verify that, if you don't verify whatever information it is you're seeing on crypto Twitter, it will actually bring a bad sign to your company. Because let's say I work for a brand, or currently working for Influx AI, and I want to do partnerships. I'm going to currently, if Influx AI is actually being built on Base, right? And Base, when you check the total value logged, when you check the wallet activities and the important metrics that you're supposed to check, you see that Base actually has a whole lot of volume, right? Now, let's say I don't want to mention in it, but let's say I want to reach out to another brand that I want to, or another protocol that I want to, partner with. They will give me a very beautiful pitch deck, right? They will give me a lot of like numbers. I will go on Twitter, I'll see a lot of people communicating and interacting with them. But when let's say I go to doing analytics, or I decide to like check through Nansen, or decide to even run a normal basic Etherscan check, I might actually realize that it doesn't align. What they are saying is not the truth. So it helps you when it comes to partnership. It helps you, and it also brings about transparency. So it helps you make the right decisions that would bring value to your brand and not just inflated metrics. Then when it comes to scaling adoption, now on-chain data would help you know where where adoption is actually happening the most, which region is actually adopting what you're building, or which ecosystem or which users are actually making use of your product the most. So on-chain data helps, right? But I also say that they are just it helps you make the right decision, but how you use the information or the data you have is another thing entirely. So they both, like, they can both coexist.
All right, thank you so much. So, the final question for my panelists. So, also Samara. So, looking at the next 2 to 3 years, do you think on-chain data would take the driver's seat for growth? I mean, you've spoken about it, but or will community remain the main differentiator in Web3 adoption?
Sorry, please come again with that question.
Okay, looking in the next 2 to 3 years, do you think on-chain data will take the driver's seat for growth, or you think communities remain the main differentiator when it comes to Web3 adoption?
I think both of them cannot do without each other. Actually, I have already said that when I answered that. I think both of them cannot do with each other, because we can have numbers, we can have facts. Then how do we use these numbers? How do we convert these numbers that we have? So they both coexist.
Anon of Web3, what's your point? What's your POV?
So like, just like Mara said, it would be that we actually look at things from what we are currently seeing now, right? And I think at some point, the moment we started to see certain systems come up, probably to just help with attribution and all of those different things like that. So as I would always say, we are moving into a phase where we will practically not be able to push for any differentiation between Web 2 and Web 3, right? And once that fully kicks in, what would happen is data would practically want to be like a major part of what we want to be working with. Because you can look at the current structure of marketing in Web 2, you would see that what we heavily rely on is data. We don't do community stuff like, you know, when we look at Web 2 stuff, yeah? And the reason why that is happening is because, you see, in Web 3, I used to say something in Web 3, like the focus is majorly on community and trust, right? Not, you know,
Community,
data,
trust, adoption.
like practically, like that's what it's all about, right? It's not about, somebody is doing this, or, oh, these are the people in this target audience, or like, you know, all of those things. But we are moving into that phase, you understand? And so I would say that because Web3 is still having a major part of it, still heavily community inclined, even in 2-3 years, we would not exactly see any one of them push themselves away from each other, right? What we'll be seeing is that they find a way to actually align with themselves. So what would happen is we'll now start having better campaigns being done, because data will now be a major advantage. Do you understand? So I'm not going to just be saying, oh, I feel like Base is doing well, because like somebody said something about Base, or this person said something about Base. Now it will be that I am able to look on the back end and say, oh, we have this number of products, you know, actually springing up, right? For me now, like I think in the last 6 weeks we have spoken to more than 60 products, yeah, on you know, like on the back end at Base. And one of the things that we are seeing different things, like from a data perspective, and now we are using that data to now see, okay, how can we get better results for these people, because they are also community members. So it's about, like, you know, them working together at the end of the day.
Wow, please a round of applause, yeah.
I think I also want to add something to what Anon said. Like, in this space, data is very, very important, right? And I'm saying this, I'm going to give something happened few weeks ago, right? On Twitter, there's something called yapping on Twitter, for those who know what it is. And there is also a yapping platform called Kaito AI. Now, before Kaito actually came up, the usual way for marketing with KOLs is that, oh, you have a large number of followers, and people are actually engaging your tweets, which may actually not be real people, but people who are actually like botted accounts, right? And currently, we have platforms like Kaito AI, we have Onchain that can actually be used to verify and check if influencers or KOLs are actually used are very legit. Now, I'm saying this because Kaito actually provides data to all these, to projects for them to know, good influencers for them to use. I think the question he asked me when he came to my DM was, oh, I would like you to, like, talk about my project on your page. And I'm like, what? Let me see your project, because I actually do filter this project. And then the next thing, I was like, okay. The next thing he asked me was, I should send my Kaito profile to him. So he wanted to see how many yaps I had, and my basically everything about my Twitter page would be on Kaito. And I told him, okay, no problem. So this is just going ahead to say that data is important, but how you also use it matters. The most.
Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for them. So I want to say a big thank you to my panelists for your powerful insights. It is clear that both on-chain data and community-led growth has to go hand in hand, but the magic actually happens when they work together. That's just the honest truth of what this panel session is all about. So if you're a builder, if you're a founder, or anyone, the key takeaway is that you should use data to guide you, right? But never forget that we have people behind the numbers. Thank you very much, and that's all for this panel session.